Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by Mr. Muskie Charters, offering full-service guided fishing trips for walleye, muskie, bass, and sturgeon on Lake St. Clair and the Detroit and St. Clair rivers. Booking information is online at mrmuskiecharters.com.
Hey everyone, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Olson-Silik, and we've got an exciting show lined up for you this week. We're going to do something we haven't done in many years here on the show. We're going to take you turkey hunting in the Upper Peninsula. While we're there, we're going to check in with a new conservation organization that's up there doing some great things. You won't want to miss that story, and Jimmy's got some other fun in line for us this week too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have a few more things on this week's show. Pretty excited about that UP turkey hunt. It was taped less than a week ago. And right after that, we're going to stop in with a school in the Eaton Rapids area, actually their middle school, and find out more about an outdoor ed program. I tell you what, hopefully stuff like that would spread across our great state. We're also going to stop in with a gunsmith on this week's show and show you what a day in the life of a gunsmith in Michigan looks like. Lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors.
What a beautiful day in the woods.
Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream. It's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, a sportsman's destination since 1988. Featuring varieties of homemade sausage, jerky, brats, and gourmet entrees. Holiday gift boxes can be assembled in-store or online. Details at countrysmokehouse.com. By AnglerQuest Pontoons, a mid-Michigan company building boats for fishermen by fishermen. AnglerQuest Pontoons are designed for comfort and functionality. On the web at anglerquestpontoons.com. By Huron Lady River Cruises in Port Huron, offering daily sightseeing trips and private cruises for all ages. Sightseers will experience the International Blue Water Bridge, Great Lakes Freighters, the Fort Gratiot Lighthouse, and more. Huron Lady River Cruises on the web at huronlady.com.
Soaking in the rich tradition of Michigan hunting for over 30 years, Vanguard is proud to sponsor our friends at Michigan Out of Doors TV.
We're currently at Island View Resort here in Cedarville, Michigan, an area called the Lachino Islands. Made up of many different islands, and it's nice because you feel like you're on inland waters with the protected bays and channels. But we're actually right on Lake Huron, just northeast of Mackinac Island. It's a beautiful area, very diverse, and not only can you have a lot of fun getting out on the water and seeing all the antique wooden boats and boathouses, there's many species to go after as far as fish are concerned. There's also great hunting opportunities, whether that's deer, duck, upland birds, or turkey. We're really focusing on the turkeys this weekend, and turkey hunting is newer to me, but it's been so exciting to get after these birds and see just how many of them are in this area. About a year and a half ago, I joined an organization called Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, and I've met a lot of great people through that organization. We have folks that are members of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers coming from all over the state this weekend to get out on public lands and get out after some turkeys, but also just to get together and have a fun time, share some stories, and learn from each other.
Gabe and I were both on this particular trip, and we decided our best chance at getting a good turkey hunt on camera would be to split up. So, the first night, I hit the woods with Jeff and Ryan. The very first piece of public ground we checked had birds on it. Now we just needed to get in a good position to call them in.
All right, so we're here in eastern Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and we're getting ready to set up on some turkeys. We just pulled into the woods. We actually saw some just over a berm within about 20 yards of us. So we pulled down a little bit further. We're gonna try to sneak in, circle around, and see if we can call them into us. This will be my first turkey if we can get one, so I'm pretty excited.
We set up about 150 yards from where we thought we had heard the last gobble. These birds were feeding along a two-track that led right to us, and after a couple of calls, they stepped into view at about 80 yards. Unfortunately, we couldn't convince them to come any closer, so we waited. And finally, after about 40 minutes and an aggressive calling sequence, they just couldn't take it anymore and started heading right into the decoys.
That was my first successful turkey hunt, and we could hear them, but they weren't moving, so we made a move on them. Got to a place where there was a nice big opening. We thought maybe we could have them see the decoys, and I don't know how long it was. It felt forever because we were just frozen, muscles flexed, praying that they would start coming down the trail towards us, and they just stuck up there for, felt like 20 minutes, but I know I was getting numb and sore holding still. And I was two males with the hen, so we didn't know if we'd be able to get them to shake the hen other than just hopefully she was going to come down. And after what felt like a very long time, they started making their way down the trail and got very close to a point where they were attacking our decoys. And then it was just a matter of making sure that the hen was out of the way and letting the two boys separate long enough to pull off a shot, and he dropped right there. He's laying right next to our decoys. My first turkey. Man, look at all those colors. It's amazing.
Oh man, I don't want to take any credit for anything, but I think it was the expert decoy placement that really brought those birds in. Maybe not so much the expert calling or shot placement, but I think the decoys and the position they were in, and the unorthodox position they were in, is what really brought those birds in.
I'll take it if they do that every time. You can have all the credit.
You guys did great. Good job, Jeff.
First turkey on Michigan Outdoors with Jordan and my good buddy Ryan. That's just amazing. Can't believe it.
That's one turkey hunt that will be hard to beat, and to do it in the UP on state land was fitting, as the BHA organization is all about keeping, protecting, and improving our public land.
So BHA, it's Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. It started in 2004 around a campfire in Oregon. So all good things should start around campfires, we like to say. So in that time, we've grown a huge quantity. Right now, we're up to about almost 40,000 members around the country. The state chapter in Michigan's up to almost 2,000 from 62 3 years ago. It's the fastest growing conservation organization in the entire world. We have a very young group of people that run it. BHA, Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, is the voice for our public lands, waters, and wildlife. So we fight for public lands and waters throughout the country. And then when you get there, high quality habitat so the animals can live there that we are chasing and spend our time going after.
Gabe was tagging along with Jason and another hunter on the second day when they spotted a few turkeys from the road. After finding out they were on private land, they quickly knocked on a few doors and ended up getting permission to go after them.
So we saw a gobbler while we were driving by up on here, you know, hunting public land or areas like this with a lot of small parcels. We do, you know, drive around a lot looking for birds. Saw a gobbler way out there, probably half a mile away, but we noticed this chunk. We happened to check some folks. They were nice enough to give us permission to hunt their land. So we rolled out here, parked by their fence here. The gates were already open. In other words, always make sure you are closing or opening gates depending on how they want it. We're going to walk all the way back there, hopefully set up on this bird, try to call something in. So that's sort of the plan here.
After hitting the call a few times, 2 Jakes showed up and they were in a hurry to make their way in. With Jason and Steve both holding tags, they prepared to try and double up. Trying to take 2 shots at one time can be pretty difficult, and although things didn't go exactly as planned, the second bird was recovered and the double was complete.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, all right. Couldn't ask for anything better.
That was pretty sweet. Saw them at like 150 yards pop out of the woods on a little inside corner. Next thing I know, they were basically sprinting at us. Covered that in all of, you know, a minute. And next thing I know, they're gobbling at like 30 yards. Then they come in real close. Steve was smart and dropped his in the spot. I hit mine and it took off, and then I took another shot and dumped it out of the air. It's the first time I ever had that happen. But that was pretty exciting. Not forgetting that one, that's for sure.
Yeah, textbook running gun.
So in Michigan, we've, you know, as far as like we've reached out to, we send out action alerts to our members as far as when bad bills or good bills are coming through the legislature, let them know what's going on so they can reach out and talk to their legislatures to make those things either happen or not happen if we don't like them. And then there's a lot of on the ground stuff we do. We did the High Country Trail Maintenance Day with a bunch of other orgs in the Pigeon River country. It's 88 miles of trail with 100 and some people showed up to do that. This is a fantastic thing. We did a river cleanup last week at Portage Creek in Portage down by Kalamazoo. Did a bunch of good work there. We removed a like old dam head kind of thing there so that the river flowed well again. So that was really good work, and we do that kind of stuff all over the state. Like we did last year, we're doing it again tonight. We have a pint night up at the distillery in Cedarville. So we'll bring, it's a sort of a informal gathering of like-minded individuals. Somebody will get up and talk for a couple minutes about BHA, what's going on within the state, and then everybody can hang out and talk about hunting and fishing and the outdoors, which we all love.
The pint night was a success, and it capped off a great couple of days of chasing gobbles in the eastern UP. Our public lands are very important, and if you use them on a regular basis, you just might want to check out BHA. Special thanks to the guys for inviting us up and for a fun couple of days north of the bridge.
Our first turkey. Oh, look at all those colors. It's amazing.
Well, what we're going to do now is show you something that I hope becomes more and more popular here in the state of Michigan, and that is taking the outdoors into our public schools.
if you have a bait like Gabe has that has treble hooks, you're going to want to make sure you stay a long way away from everyone else. I don't want anyone getting hooked today, right? Okay. Mr. Marriott is walking over to get some more fishing poles. When he gets back, we'll get you guys all set up. We have plenty of worms, so we're just going to have to be patient because there's only a few of us and a lot of you, right?
A few weeks back found me in Eaton Rapids, tagging along with Jeff Taylor's Outdoor Life class. We are always trying to shine a light on teachers and schools that are making the outdoors a priority, and that is happening here in Eaton Rapids. All you need to do is talk to some of these kids to see that it is working. What do you guys like about this class?
I like that it's just a change of pace.
Yeah?
Because, like, we're always in a classroom all day, and this is just a lot better for us, yeah.
And we're going to catch a fish.
And there's no homework.
We're going to catch a fish.
So what do you like better, the archery, the fishing, or the kayaking, or what?
I like archery, personally.
Okay.
I don't know, it's just fun.
You get to be competitive.
Yeah.
Which I really like.
Keep score. It's a sport, right?
Yeah, you can get better.
Yeah.
Because we keep our score.
And I want to go bow hunting now because it's just my favorite. Because like guns, I'm not as about, but I think bow hunting would be a lot better.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, good luck fishing.
Thank you.
As we descended on this pond and some kids went for a nature walk, I was able to track Jeff down and ask him about what was going on here today.
Fishing today, we were at the VFW home. They were gracious and allowed us to bring about 35 kids out to catch. We caught bluegills, crappies. I did see one bass get caught. It looked like the kids had a lot of fun on a pretty dreary 45 or 50 degree windy May day, but we're having a good time here, so that's what matters.
And why do you think this class is important?
Why do I think the class is important? Probably the most important thing about the class is it gets kids outside, away from their cell phones, and away from some of the distractions in their life, I guess, if you would say. Obviously, you can see by looking at the guys behind us, and they love to be outdoors. They might not tell you that initially, but you get them outside, whether it's fishing or archery or just looking for salamanders, and they enjoy themselves. And it's a good reprieve, I think, from kind of our modern world, if you will.
Getting a program like this off the ground doesn't just happen. It takes some open-minded administrators and some hard work to get this all moving forward.
4.5 years ago, I approached my principal and asked if I could do some sort of an outdoor-related class. I had taught science and social studies and math and reading and language arts and over the years. And to be honest, I kind of got to a point in my career where I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I approached her, and she thought it was a great idea. And later that summer, she contacted me and said, "Sure, Jeff, go ahead and take it and run with it." So the first year and a half probably was a struggle to put together curriculum and kind of make it all work. But in my fourth year now, I think the kids will all tell you it's probably their favorite class. We do lots of fun things. I get them out of doors probably 80% of the time, or if we're not outdoors, we're doing kayaking in the swimming pool or we're doing archery in the gym. So it's really turned into a really good class, and I hope other schools around the state kind of see what we do, and anyone can do it anywhere in the state of Michigan.
I like archery and fishing.
Nice. What do you think of Mr. Taylor?
He's great. I had him like 2 years out of 3 in the middle school. So.
Okay. And what kind of stuff do they teach in this class?
Everything about the outdoors.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's your favorite part?
I like learning about all the animals.
Okay. Nice.
You have to do projects about all the fish of Michigan and birds and stuff like that.
Nice. With some great programs out there for archery in the schools, there is some funding to help make some of these programs work. And from what I can tell, the archery is something that the kids really do enjoy. All the stuff you do in the class, tell me what's your favorite and why.
Archery, because we get to shoot things and targets.
Okay.
I like archery because it's really calming and I'm good at it. It's fun.
Cool.
I like going on nature walks because we get to make forts and like shelters, and it's really fun.
And how about you?
I like nature walks because I can skip out on the class and just like walk in the woods.
Well, you gotta love an honest answer. Most of you watching are probably wishing you had a class like this in middle school or high school, and don't we all? But it's a good thing, because outdoorsmen like Jeff Taylor are making a difference. So from all of us who love the outdoors,
we love Mr. Taylor!
Whether you own a couple guns or a couple hundred, one thing you may need along the way is a good gunsmith. We're going to visit with one down in the southeast part of our state and show you what goes into a normal day in the life of a gunsmith. If you have ever wondered how someone gets into being a gunsmith, well, David Bremer is the guy to talk to.
That's a good story, let me tell you. There's a gentleman down the road, me being a hunter, and he's not a hunter at all. He asked me if I could work on one of his friend's guns. He said it was really important to him. And what it was is it's a kid that's 16 years old and he's had brain surgery quite a few times. He's had a pretty rough life. And I says, Bob, I'm not a gunsmith. I don't know anything about guns. He says, you know more about guns than I do. So I felt obligated. So I said, you know what, I'll take a look at it. And I've never had a gun apart. I've never did anything with them. Well, what I did is I got a schematic online, and they don't tell you where things go. They don't tell you anything. I just went with the schematic and figured out how the parts all went in. And when I put it together and I went and test fired, I couldn't believe it. And I took it over to Bob and his the friend, and he said that gun shot better than it did when he had it brand new, because his dad said it always dysfunctioned for him and stuff. And I knew that was my calling, So then I looked into really good schools, and and it went from there. It went crazy.
Each day and each gun is kind of like a puzzle. You have to look at all the parts and figure out what is fitting right and what isn't. It's a new mystery each and every project.
Well, it's a 1900 Remington, and they're only built for 10 years. And what happened is this guy sent it to a couple gunsmiths, and it came back doing the same thing that he sent it to him, the first one. And then he was upset when he got it out and started hunting with it, so then he sent it to another gunsmith, and that gunsmith took it apart and gave it back to him and told him he couldn't find anything wrong with it. And anyways, T-Rex, which is a shooting range down here in Belleville, indoor, I do all their work for them, and they asked me if I'd take a look at it. And so anyways, I told them, well, if it comes to my shop, it's gonna be fixed, or else we'll find some way to get it fixed.
So once the problem is solved, you then, in many cases, have to come up with the parts you need to solve the issue, or make them from scratch.
What I came up with is it has what we call headspace. And what headspace is the shell drops down too far from the breech, which is this right here, and these aren't hitting correctly. And when I first test fired it, he told me it only misfired on the right side, and it actually misfired on the left side and the right side. It did both. So it's like, I couldn't figure out what it was, so I thought maybe it was the spring tension in here. And also, you can't get parts for this thing anymore. They're rare, so you have to build them. But anyways, I found out that there was no parts broken in it, and I just kept trying, figuring out what was going on, and that's what it was. It's headspace. So what I had to do is I had to correct the headspace, a spot weld underneath there, and then I took and had to grind these off till I got to my certain, my certain depth.
Replacing the ejectors.
Exactly.
But building a new one.
Correct, because I looked and there's none of these online, but now I shot it couple days ago, and it shoots like a dream now.
One thing that Dave told me as we chatted, this was a really good tip for any of you out there who own a two-barreled gun.
Bottom line is when you store an over and under, or anything that's a double barrel like this, when you put your gun away after you shoot it, it's cocked. So make sure the chambers are clear, close the gun, and shoot both barrels. Don't leave it cocked in the safe, because it weakens the springs.
It was really interesting to chat with Dave from Lower Metro Gunsmithing, a business he started in his basement and garage. Well, it has turned into something pretty big. If you want to learn more about him, we will have his contact info in the credits of the show.
Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you stick around in upcoming weeks. There's lots of exciting things going on in the outdoors this time of year. We'll start doing more big lake fishing. There's lots of springtime fishing to be had, and still a little bit of turkey hunting. If you'd like to see where we are or where we're headed next, you can always do that online.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Online is a great way to kind of keep tabs on us. Of course, our website is MichiganOutofdoorsTV.com. We have full episodes of the show there every week. We're on most of the social media sites if you want to kind of follow us there. And if you're ever on YouTube, you can actually subscribe to our Michigan Out of Doors TV channel and get an email every time we post something new. Lots of good stuff coming over the next several weeks. And as always, if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or greenstonefcs.com. By EOTech, a Michigan company, equipping law enforcement and sportsmen alike with quality optics, creating jobs for Michigan workers. On the web at eotechgear.com. By Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises of Munising, exploring Lake Superior's Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. With its sandstone cliffs, caves, waterfalls, and lighthouses, Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises on the web at picturedrocks.com. Closed captioning provided by Randy's Hunting Center, serving Michigan as Ruger and Leupold's National Dealer of the Year, and inventor of Ruger's 450 Bushmaster rifle.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a